So I'm doing some overhire drafting for a buddy, and I have found a place where the designer drafting doesn't line up, which gives us a really good reason not to trace. So if you look right here, you've got this staircase that goes up. Now, one thing that I've already flagged for the TD, and I'm waiting to hear back about, is this rise and run. This is 7, there's a dimension for it, 7 3/4 rise by an 8-inch run, and then there's an inch and a quarter, or it's labeled as inch and a quarter overlap from the designer. And so that means that this is going to be a really steep stair and one that might be kind of awkward to climb. So I'm gonna flag that for my friend that's the TD here. But this is the thing that I wanted to show you explicitly. So the designer has been kind enough to give me dimensions, and typically I go by the dimension, but let's have a gander. If I take my dim tool, oh, by the way, this is the PDF that the designer brought in, and then I am, this is the PDF that the designer gave me that I've brought into AutoCAD so that I can use my distance tool, or DI is the shortcut for that. So I'm just going to measure here to here, and it gives me 7 7/8. Well, that says 8 inches, and my guess is that it's supposed to be 8 inches. It's just that when they drew it, it didn't end up being that, because I don't think they actually want me to make that stair. Look at that. They're not even consistent. So this is something that I would expect. Like, honestly, if I'm looking at it, this looks to me like this might even be an import error. Like, look at how this is all clipped. Look at how that's all clipped. I think this, that inconsistency is probably due to computer programs not liking each other. So there's, number one, a really good reason to not pay attention to it. Thing two, this don't make no sense. Because if this is measuring from the front edge of this to the back edge of this, and this is telling me 7 1/4 inches, but I know that I just mentioned that at less than 8, which means that this isn't correct. And well, let's have a gander, look around, let's have a look-see. Is there anywhere on this drawing, anywhere where I have anything in a 1/16? Nah, friends, there's not. You know what that tells me? That tells me that just like they have a precision that they set in their CAD program, I'm guessing this was done with Vectorworks, just like we have one that we set in AutoCAD, and it's usually a 1/16, although if you're doing something that requires more precision, we might up that to 30 seconds. We might even up that to decimals, depending on what we're doing. That tells me that this was automatically overridden by their program, by the computer, and that this is not accurate. So I did a little bit of math, I looked at it, and I went, this is a problem. So what am I going to do as a technical director? Well, I'm going to say clearly this 7 7/8 that they've dimensioned as 8 elsewhere, they intended for that to be 8. Great. This 1 1/4 feels like a dimension that they have probably approved and probably were intending on. So I'm going to measure this as well, and I'm going to verify what they've given me, and I'm going to see that distance is indeed 1 1/4. So I'm going to line these up at 1 1/4 and see what I end up with and see what that looks like visually. And you might be going, but I'm not going to do that until I model the whole thing, yada, blah, blah, blah. You don't have to model the whole thing, friends. You can model things in 3 dimensions without having to go too crazy. So let me take a really quick look-see. I know that those are supposed to be 8-inch treads because that's what the designer specified in their dimension. And I know that they are supposed to be 2'8" wide. And it looks like that first stair isn't at the very edge of the platform. That might be a beautiful place for me to get away with something, but we'll find out in a second. So I'm going to draw a rectangle, not trace a rectangle. I'm going to start a command, and I'm going to say it is 2 feet. Nope, that's the wrong dimension. 8 feet by 2'8". I'm going to move this, and somewhere else it told me that the rise is 7 3 1/4. I'm going to place this bottom rectangle. Oops, I placed it in the wrong place. Whoops. That bottom rectangle represents the footprint where it is on the ground. So I'm not going to move that one, but I am going to move this one I just placed. And I'm going to move it 7.75 up. Congratulations, now I have a tread. And then I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to move it over because it looked like the designer wanted, oh, I'm in the wrong view for this to work very well. Let's go to front view. Booyah. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go, oh, they specified a 1 1/4 inch run or difference, which would give me 6.75 if my math is correct. Stop that command. Take it up 8 inches. Oh, that didn't work. 8 inches, lovely. So that's what they're actually specifying. That's what they've asked for. Oh, except that it's inset a little bit. Well, let me go ahead and see, like just quickly visualize what that's gonna look like all the way up. I could, actually, let me go check. Let's see, how many stairs are supposed to be here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then the 12th is the landing. I already put the landing where it's supposed to be. Let's see if this actually lines up the way they think it should. I'm gonna give myself that top view again. And this time, instead of copying from the unit itself, I'm gonna copy from this thing that I can copy from. And I'm gonna copy those. Look at that, beautiful. I'm gonna do that one more time and that'll probably be enough. Not quite, let's do that. And look at that, that doesn't line up correctly. That was 5 1/4 inches, I can see that right here. 5 1/4 inches of height. The run isn't quite right either. Let me see if this is the right number of steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so I do have the right number of steps. But this tells me that this don't make no sense. And I'm gonna have to do some zhuzhing. Yeah, so, well, maybe, so I didn't inset it over here, but they didn't give me that dimension. Thanks, designer. 3 1/8. So if I move that in, is this 3 1/8? I can't see what I'm doing. Let's see, from here to here. No, from here. No, that doesn't help me. I'm just gonna do it this way. I could definitely math that. I just don't want to math that. So I'm gonna move the whole thing. Ooh, don't stretch, don't stretch. Why? Fine. I will use my move tool. I get it, it's because I'm in the wrong view. It's fine, it's fine. All right, this might be a Mac PC situation where it's just being pissy for no good reason. All right, I'm gonna move it 3 inches. Does that look like it lines up? Yeah, that looks like it's closer to what they designed. So that's what I meant by like, this looks like a place that I can get away with something. Honestly, I think perhaps the better way to get away with something is to adjust up here. I'm gonna have to explore that a little bit to figure out how I'm gonna make that choice. But anyway, the whole point of this was just to show you that there are ways, you know, there's really good reasons to not copy exactly what the designer has given us. For example, this is gonna run on Aircasters, and those Aircasters, like the Aircaster by itself, like I already modeled it off of drawings that the TD gave me of the Aircasters they have in stock. The Aircasters themselves are also, does this setup look familiar? It should. 6 3/8 of an inch tall. That's in the retracted mode. When they're extended, they're another 1 1/4 longer than that. So that's something that I should know and take note of. But also, this right here says discuss platform details and need to hide Aircasters in tank. So in this situation, I'm going to ask myself, what can I actually physically accomplish? 6 inches is not going to cut it. So we're going to end up closer to 7 1/4. that tells me that I'm probably going to lose a step for one thing. So that's something that I need to think about and be careful about because we don't want this inconsistent rise. Um, or I have to find the world's smallest air tanks, which I think I may already have done. 4 inches in diameter, that's crazy. Or they've already recognized that this is going to need, that this may not be something that we can achieve. So truthfully, the discussion has already happened, and the TD has already warned the designer that, like, yeah, the least amount we're going to be able to do is like 7 if we're lucky. So he's already said, if you need to make it a little bit bigger, that's fine. They've already approved it. And I went, great. Doesn't matter. Also, something else that I've noticed about this is that they didn't draw any bracing in here because they're a designer and they're worried about aesthetics, not about function necessarily. Like, they're somewhat concerned about function, but not about structural design. And I've already asked that, yes, we can add whatever bracing we need to in here. There's no desire to use this as a actor pathway or walkway. So yeah, there's just an example. So to give you a little bit of context, I first looked at this Thursday night. I sent a bunch of questions to my friend and the TD and the ATD that are working on this unit, and they gave me some some answers back. And then now that I'm really diving into it, I have more questions that I'm going to send them shortly or things that I've pointed out, and then just need them to be aware of and communicate. So there's that. I hope this was maybe a little bit helpful. I don't know. But yeah, don't trace the designer drawings, friends. You don't know when either they've made a mistake or overridden something, or made it, or the computer has made a mistake for them that they didn't catch, which is fine because we do that too. So anyway, I hope this was helpful. If not, don't tell me. I don't care. That's not true. Okay, bye.